The KX450F is equipped with Showa's advanced SFF-Air TAC Chamber Fork and uses the same race-developed championship-winning technology used on Ryan Villopoto's Monster Energy Kawasaki KX450F. The separate function triple air chamber fork provides factory-level technology on a production-based motorcycle. Your owner's manual provides detailed instructions on how to make adjustments and get the most out of your KX450F forks. Use the following setup tips with your owner's manual when making changes. It's best to familiarize yourself with how the suspension responds with the current settings before making any changes. You should create a log and note how the bike handles with the standard settings before making adjustments. When you do make adjustments, get back on the track and increase your speed slowly as you get familiar with the new settings. Do a few laps and note the findings in your log. Always start your ride day by checking the pressure in the forks. To ensure the forks are properly pressurized, the chambers must be pressurized in the proper sequence: inner, outer, and balance. A symbol on the top right of the fork cap identifies the inner and outer chamber. The inner chamber is represented by a solid dot, while a semicircle represents the outer chamber. The balance chamber is located on the bottom of the fork. Pressurizing the air chambers is a simple process and only requires the Kawasaki Digital Mini Air Pump that came with your KX450F. Kawasaki recommends riders start with the standard fork settings. Follow the pressurization sequence and start with the inner chamber, setting it to 145 psi. Next, move to the outer chamber and set it to 7.25 psi. Now, set the balance chamber pressure to 131 psi. Finish by opening the bleed screw on the left fork cap to equalize pressure with the atmosphere and reinstall. Make sure the rear shock is properly set up too, as it will affect the feel of the forks. Use the information in the owner's manual to set the sag and damping adjusters to the recommended settings. From the factory, the forks on the KX450F are set up for approximately a 185-pound rider. If you fall above or below that weight, or want to make adjustments to suit track conditions, refer to the softer and harder pressure recommendations in your owner's manual. One of the advantages of the SFF-Air TAC Chamber Fork is its tunability. Here's a brief guide on how each chamber affects the suspension action. Pressure changes to the inner chamber tend to affect the entire range of travel. Pressure changes to the outer chamber tend to affect the last third of the travel and give the fork a more progressive feeling. Pressure changes to the balance chamber affect the fork ride height, initial fork movement, and front wheel traction feeling. Keep in mind that although each chamber is independent, making air pressure changes to one chamber will have an effect on the others. Staying within the specifications outlined in the owner's manual will help ensure top performance. When changing to a setting with less air pressure, be sure to release air from the chambers in reverse of the filling sequence: balance, outer, inner. Then refill in the proper sequence: inner chamber, outer chamber, balance chamber. Check the pressure in the forks each ride day. Pressurize in the proper sequence. Adjust your compression and rebound clickers before making air spring changes. If you're experimenting from the recommended settings, make only one change at a time to help you understand what effect each change makes. Never adjust the pressure outside of the adjustment range. Go back to the standard settings if you feel you're getting off track. Once you get comfortable with your air pressure settings, you can stick with them, or if you like to experiment, the KX450F's SFF-Air TAC allows many options to try by simply altering air pressure and/or changing the compression or rebound settings.